Okay, I'm going to call to order the FOXFIRE Village Work Session, January 25th, 2024. All council members are present as well as members of our audience. So
I'd like to add something.
first off, we've got changes to this agenda.
I just wanted to add something about spectrum, please.
Spectrum.
Spectrum. I'd like to add something about the county land use plan.
County land use plan. Okay.
Yeah.
And Larry, you have something?
Yeah, I'd like to add North Shamrock water leak.
Shamrock water leak. And I need to add an update on the commissioners meeting and closed session rules. So I'm going to put my stuff down at the bottom of the agenda. So
Okay.
why don't we start off with you, Janet?
All right, I'll start out with spectrum just to keep everybody up to date. It looks like the pre-berries for three Town Hall Drive, which is the police department, and the pool will be taking Town Hall Drive will be taking place on 127. That doesn't mean they're hooking it up, but they're just getting the cable underground. And the pre-bury for the pool will be done on 130, January 30th. And
And when you say pre-bury, that's just inspecting.
They're trenching.
the trenching,
The trenching.
and
Okay.
they run, like we saw out the window,
Right.
they run that cable.
They run the cable. Okay.
Okay. So pool 130. Now I also asked them because they had all of the installations for each 3 locations on different days, and I told them I needed it done on one day because we have to have our IT folks here.
Mm-hmm.
So the installation where they are going to get everything up and running is going to be on February 2nd.
Oh.
So after that, and our IT folks will get everything implemented inside the buildings for us along with them. All they have to do is make sure the internet is working, and then the IT folks will take it over. So just so everybody knows, February 2nd.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Great. Any questions?
No.
Not on that. No.
That was easy.
That's good news.
All right, my turn.
Yes.
All right, so before I get into anything, I just have a written statement that I wanted to read before I make any of my recommendations for the pool.
Okay.
Okay? And I want this on the record, so that's why I'm reading it.
Okay.
Let me give you all some background on Mr. Jackson and his company, Southern Pines Pool Service. He has been the owner of Southern Pines Pool Service for over 30 years. He has been maintaining and servicing the village pool for the last 14 years. He has 24 commercial customers and 130 residential customers. He has a CPO accreditation, which stands for Certified Pool Operator. A CPO accreditation is required by the health departments to operate a public swimming pool. He is responsible for making sure the pool meets all of the requirements needed in order for the village to pass the annual health department inspection, which includes water chemistry. He is in attendance the whole time during the health department inspection, which can last up to 3 hours. And on behalf of the village, he signs off on the permit, as no one in the village has a CPO accreditation. Mr. Jackson is an expert in his field. When repairs are needed by outside vendors, the village relies on Mr. Jackson to do the vetting of any such companies. During the swim season, someone from his company comes to the pool daily to check all the chemical levels / pH in the pool and keeps the state log for these daily checks. This is extremely important as the health department can and does come in for spot checks. If the village cannot produce an up-to-date report the health department can and will revoke the village pool permit. During the off-season, his company checks the pool weekly. The village does not provide nor purchase supplies needed to maintain the pool, such as chemicals. I'm sure you all realize anyone servicing a pool, whether or not it is a commercial or residential pool, would be supplying their own chemicals or anything else to maintain the integrity of the pool. Pool contractors buy supplies in bulk, whereas if the village were buying pool supplies, we would be paying retail. The amount the pool paid for 12 months worth of chemicals was only $4,665.89. In the 2 years I have worked with Mr. Jackson, he has been dependable, conscientious, and responsive anytime I have needed to call on him. He has provided the same level of service to the past village staff who have worked with him. He has a stellar reputation in the community. I took it upon myself to look up reviews for Mr. Jackson's company, and let me quote you one of the reviews. Complete, competent, full service. Mr. Jackson has the experience, tools, and customer service attitude required to fulfill your every need. With that said, I called leak locators after our council meeting on January 9th, 2024. And as we all know, we couldn't make a decision on that day because we didn't have all the facts we needed. I explained our situation and asked them if they had a cancellation to please contact me. I was called and was informed they could send someone out on Tuesday, January 23rd, which was this past Tuesday. After the inspection, another leak was found besides the leaks that had already been identified. The good news is, it is not the plumbing lines to and from the pool, which was our main concern. The leak is again coming from the expansion joint. As you know, the expansion joint was repaired in the spring of 2023. I have forwarded the report to Mr. Jackson, and he and I have discussed the situation. Now you may be asking, is it unusual to have a reoccurring leak in the expansion joint after a year after a repair? The answer is yes, it is unusual. Can it happen? Yes, it can. Mr. Jackson, on behalf of the village, is contacting the company who performed the repair as to what, if any, concessions they will make to come and cover the repair at their expense. Mr. Jackson is working on it, and I am waiting to hear back from him. The current repairs that are needed can take up to 2 to 3 weeks to complete. I want to add, there are no companies in Moore County that can make these specific repairs. There are 2 companies that can make plaster repairs, and they are located in Charlotte. And I would like to repeat, Mr. Jackson has vetted both companies. This is the very busy time for companies that are capable to perform this type of repair. With that said, we need to make a decision tonight, if possible, so Mr. Jackson can contact the company and get us on their calendar. I cannot make any guarantees as to what order we will be on their calendar. Weather will also be a factor as to when repairs can be completed. So after all that, my recommendation to this council is to move forward to approve the repairs and open the pool for the 2024 season, since we don't have to worry about the leak from the lines. Any questions?
The repair that that we have to do as far as not the expansion joint, but the other repairs, that's basically 77,000, correct?
Correct. Yes, it is. They will be removing the lights, filling it in with cement, and then plastering.
What was the estimate to fix the cracks now?
That's the 77.
That's including repairing of the cracks.
No, that's just.
That's removing the lights,
Right,
filling them in,
that doesn't include fixing the leaks, right? Expansion.
The
joint.
expansion joint.
the expansion
Right,
joint,
and that's
correct.
That will be extra.
That like.
Well, it might not.
It may, but.
It
may
might,
not.
it may not.
Right.
And if I have anything to say about it, we won't be paying for it.
If we had to pay for it though, Janet, did he give you a ballpark of what it would be?
No.
Okay.
We just discussed it yesterday, so.
When they fixed it the last time with it was close to an $8,000 repair.
No, it was 4,000.
Okay, yeah.
It-
When they fixed it the last time, was it the entire joint that they redid?
Yes,
And it's just this one location
yes,
that is not
yes.
correct? Okay.
Yeah.
So it
So-
will be less than.
And I spoke to Danny, and he's confident he can get them to fix it without charging us. But again, I'm not gonna guarantee that.
Right. So we're probably looking at around $80,000 between the inspection we just had done with leak locators and.
Well, that was 1,900.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
so we're up to about 80,000.
Yep.
So far.
Yep. But, and again, I'm looking at it, and one of the guys from Leak Locators, we talked about the age of the pool. And he said, you guys have been very lucky with this pool. But on the other hand, I can tell the village is taking good care of the pool, or it wouldn't have lasted this long. But keep in mind your pool's old. And we can't make, he said today, these lines are not leaking. There's no guarantees for next year.
Right.
So, but as long as we don't have to worry about those water lines, and hopefully we won't have to next year, that is my recommendation, is that we pay the money and open the pool.
Well, we need to make sure we can get on a schedule so that it can be opened.
Yeah, well,
That's-
but we need to approve getting it open, so I can tell him we're gonna move forward with the repairs. And knowing Danny, he'll work very hard to get us in there. Any questions from you guys?
Comment. So first of all, that's great news. That's good. I know that there was some concern by the residents that it may not open, so that's great news to hear. And the other great news is that I'm wondering if we could set, maybe a year past this time for us to spend evaluating the pool moving forward. This gives us a 12-month period to be able to kind of put our minds together and say, okay, well, this may not be consistent to be able to put in 80,000 every year, and
Yep.
understanding that there are losses and that we're at the end of the term of beyond that, right?
Yeah.
So this maybe would allow us 12 months to be able to get all the facts together at the end of the year, to be able to say, okay, well, if we were going to get a new pool, this is what it would be. Does that
So that's on our
sound
list of,
reasonable?
that is on
That's
our.
on our long range plan.
Right, that's on our long range plan, and I believe it's an item that Janet is working on.
Good.
Yeah.
So that's, yes, it is, yes, it is what we will be doing.
Good. Cool.
Okay.
Good.
I do want to say to the audience though, if you have any additional questions, please email them to the village clerk. Her email address is listed on the village website, and any questions that she receives, I will address at our next council meeting. So, does anybody want to make a motion to move forward with the repairs?
I'll make that motion. I want to make them.
I'll second it.
Well, I want to make the motion that we are going to spend in the vicinity of $80,000 in repairs to the pool, and get the contractor scheduled as soon as we can. So
Yeah.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Okay, I will call him.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
All right, I'll call him tonight when we're done with the meeting. I'm done.
Next up is, Councilman Gilroy.
I'm gonna do the county land use plan first. I see Mick back there. He and I attended a special meeting of the county commissioners today as they continue to discuss the Moore County land use plan. It's important that Foxfire keep their finger in that pot. There's no question about it. So I'll continue to attend those meetings and just kind of clue you in on what's going on. There are some things that sound really good, and there are some things that are concerning, not necessarily to Foxfire, because when we passed RA5, trust me, we did an insulation job that everybody in the county wishes that they had. But I will just keep tabs on it, and I'll kind of let you know what's going on. There are 2 more open meetings on the land use plan. One will be on the 13th of February, one on the 15th. It's Northmore and Union Pines, and I don't think they had decided which school was going to be which date. But if you want to go and you want to speak about it, you can do that. They do have a website up on the county website dedicated to the land use plan. If you want to go and read about it or comment or something like that, you're welcome to do that. But I'm happy to keep a pulse on it for us.
What are those 2 dates? February what?
February 13th, which is a Tuesday, February 15th, which is a Thursday, and then a follow-up meeting with the commissioners on the 16th, which is a special meeting to just kind of review what that input was. At the one last Tuesday at Pinecrest, we had like 100 people. 24 people got up and spoke. I will tell you that with one exception who was talking kind of on a different subject, every single person opposed growth. So, but we got, I mean, obviously they need more input than that.
Will the meetings take place at the same location?
No, the Pinecrest meeting was last week. The 13th will either be at Union Pines or Northmore, and then the 15th will be at whichever one it was on the 13th.
Okay, all right, thanks.
Yeah. Okay. And then on to the new well contract. Gary and I and Sharon and Jesse got together the week before last and just kind of walked through the numbers. And Lisa has gone ahead and put together a capital project ordinance. The total estimated, well, not total, but the current estimated cost for the well is $123,686,000. The one thing that it does not include, and Gary, correct me if I don't have this right, but there is an additional cost for a water distribution line. We won't be able to get a firm estimate on it until the engineering plans are approved, and Jesse will get with us on that. We also, in that quick little meeting, discussed, Jesse will give us a monthly update as they start to move, so we'll have, this isn't like a glamorous process, but we'll get a monthly update from him. He also will keep the water guy informed. If we have any significant changes to the cost, we obviously want to know those and we want to have them documented. So I don't know, Janice, do you need a motion to accept this?
Yeah, and I just want to say that it's more like 223,000.
What did I say?
There are 123,000.
Oops.
It's the total is going to be
223.
223, which we have reserved.
Well, it's all it's
right.
Not it
This
is
all
set
money
aside,
reserve,
which is why we reserve.
So I'm going to just make a motion that we accept this capital ordinance project number 2024-04, and it's for well number 13.
I'll second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And Gary signed the contract.
So you have that with you?
So I will sign this. Okay. Thank you for that. Anything else, Mary?
No, that's it.
Okay.
That's it.
Up next is Congressman.
Oh, Don. Wow, what a privilege.
The fire department, no activities to report at this time. The fire chief will be here next regular meeting to give his yearly report to us on his activities for the year. So if you want to find out what they've done, he'll be here.
Okay.
Police activities, this is the activity log from January 1 to January 24th. Citations, 141 citations already.
Wow.
Arrests, 3 arrests, and one of them was for DWI. Total occurrences was 672 occurrences in the first 24 days. So we've been busy. We do have one of the new electric, speed signs up and working, and it's working great, a lot better than the old ones. In fact, one of the old ones is down. They've got 2 batteries in those old signs which are working. So there's something wrong with the control board. So Lieutenant Garner is working with the manufacturer to see if they can solve the problem. But other than that, nothing to report.
I have a question.
Yes,
Where are the new ones located?
on North Shamrock. Going through the main entrance before they go down the hill.
Okay,
North,
North Shamrock.
going east Shamrock.
No,
South.
it's north and
South
south.
are your only choices.
Going east on Woodland Circle on top of the hill. Thanks, Congressman. X.
Okay, so wait, North Shamrock, there's one? No,
No, the new one is on east.
going
Woodland
east
Circle.
on Woodland Circle.
Yes.
Okay,
top of
where
the
else?
hill. And it works great, and it looks good.
Okay, so that's one.
They're waiting for the mounting posts to come in.
Okay.
Haven't got those yet, so they
Okay.
can't put any more up.
So where were they planning to put those?
Well, that's up to them to decide.
Okay, they haven't decided.
They haven't been decided yet.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have.
Councilman Samuels.
Yep.
Oh,
Okay,
this should be fun.
so this is a follow-up to our request from the club to provide a detailed list of plants. So you've got 2 handouts. One is the one that I presented 2 weeks ago or whenever that was. I think it was at our last meeting. And then they, per your request, provided us with a detailed list of the different plants that are coming in. We had asked them to provide us with their initial planting, and then their maturity, size, height, and width, and then they added the growth rate onto that. I don't expect the council to go through and detail themselves on this. I certainly don't want to get into conversation about different types of foliage, but I did want them to take I would like you guys to take an opportunity to review it. And if we could get consensus to allow them to move forward with this. They already contracted with as you already know, with the landscaping company, and they're ready to move forward with that, complete that contract. There also was a request to provide a certificate of occupancy before the plants are in. And I said that I would present to the council, and the council can decide if they want to do that. I don't know whether you want to do that tonight, or if you feel comfortable with what they've got here, that you can make a decision on whether you want to allow them to have an early certificate of occupancy or not.
Well, one thing they gotta do, I don't know if it was brought up at that meeting when they were here to explain the new building and plannings. I talked to them point blank, it might have been after the meeting, it's gotta be irrigated.
Yeah,
I mean, they're all gonna die. Look at their planning now, they're all dead.
There is an irrigation system part of that is part of the plans that they provided.
It will be
And-
irrigated.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
can we get it in writing as to a deadline as to when all of this will be planted? Can we also get it in writing that irrigation system will be put in?
Sure.
And what else that they didn't, that I want in writing?
Do they, like a maintenance plan? Like, I mean, the people that are putting, I not forget, it's somebody down out of Pine Bluff, right? Somebody.
Aurora Hills.
Aurora Hills,
Okay.
Maintenance of the
Yeah,
plants,
but they
yes.
need to have some kind of ongoing, they're coming out once a month or whatever it is to maintain it, or it's just gonna go to.
I'm assuming their employees are gonna be maintaining
Let's
Yeah.
not assume anything.
because they're greenskeepers.
No, because I look at the plants that they have along Hoffman, on the corners, until we said something, they weren't maintained. Yeah, so I would like something in writing as to how often and they're going to maintain these bushes and so on and so forth.
What do you mean, how often they're gonna maintain?
Well, I don't know, I mean, will it be that they will maintain them?
I personally think that that's all part of our ordinances and ordinance enforcement after the fact,
Good
that
point.
if this starts to look like a jungle, they need to do something about it, and our ordinances should reflect that. If they don't reflect that, we need to rewrite some of our
Okay.
ordinances
All right.
to do that, because they've got to, if they're going to be installing this, and I think what I would like to know is, when is this gonna start? I know, okay, if we say, yes,
Right.
this is fine. When is this gonna start? Is it gonna start now?
Yeah, fair enough.
And if it is gonna start now, and if they are doing this, I think, if it's, they need to start it, is what they need to do.
I think that what I heard from this council is, for me to go back to them and ask them. If we say yes, to this, which I believe, after review, we probably will, but what you're looking for is, if we say go, what's your plant date? And then also to add, what you had mentioned, Don, is a firm commitment to irrigation, when it's irrigation.
It's gotta be it, I'm not gonna have
That's
that
fine.
for anything until they get there.
Absolutely. So if I get those 2 dates and confirmation,
Yeah,
that will allow us to move on. Is that correct?
Yeah.
correct.
Okay, got it.
So
And-
do
and- and I
we
think-
need to see that before we make a determination on it?
Oh, no, I'll get that to you. So, within the next couple of days.
What I'd like to propose is that if Lisa receives the things that we've asked for,
Yes.
if she receives them, she would go through the normal process of what she typically does to issue a CO, whatever that is.
Okay.
And we need to not insert ourselves
In that process.
into that process.
I agree.
No, thank you very much.
Is
Okay.
my opinion.
Thank you.
I'm okay.
Was there anything brought up when you met with them, Gary, about the color of the doors, how they wanted, how they're gonna paint them?
They're not painting, they are what it is,
They're not gonna paint those doors.
there was nothing that the village stated.
You go back and recorded that building is supposed to be all green,
Yeah,
all green.
I did, pretty much went through there, I didn't find that, I can go through it
Yeah,
again.
that was specific.
Well, I think that's another thing where, like we had talked about, these commercial buildings, anything that's not a single family home, we are gonna be re-looking at what they're supplying us before we make a decision on whether things can proceed, and color renditions of the completed project is really what we should be asking for. So
I have a
we've got
question
some
about
work
that.
on that.
You need to go to planning and zoning then and ask them to totally redo the accessory building ordinance, because that's an accessory building. Which technically does not come to the council for approval. I'm
Well,
just-
we're
I'm
gonna
just
have to
saying.
look at that. We're
Yeah,
gonna have to
you
look
need
at
to
that.
give that to planning and zoning, and then you need to be careful how you do it, because you don't want planning and zoning, or you don't want the council reviewing every accessory building that goes up.
Well, it's mostly for,
It'd be commercial.
exactly, it's not in single family, I'm not talking
Yeah.
about single family development,
Yeah.
I'm talking about commercial and resident and recreational.
Yeah, and I think when we look back on what we could have done better with this, we would have been a little bit more detail oriented on whether the plan was submitted was adequate before we approved anything, as in, to your point, colors. Okay,
Well, the council wasn't part of that process, because
No,
before the.
I'm sorry, what they submitted to the village as their plan
Mhm.
was approved, but it did not contain those details.
You're right.
So I'm saying,
I have Rick, he's standing up, making the presentation, I says, what color is the building gonna be? He said, it's gonna be all green.
Yeah, but you said building,
All.
you say doors.
Well, building.
Well, yeah, this is, again, I think.
There's a lot
as
to
we
be
grow-
learned.
Yep, as we grow, we understand what we're gonna need to do better, and I think getting more detailed plans and getting more detail oriented and looking at those plans before we say go will probably be better.
Yeah.
Okay, good, thank you. Next up on the agenda is the North Shamrock Water Leak, so I'm glad everybody's here. For those of you who've been around a long time, you know I love to do presentations, so I want to show her, but we had a kind of.
He's a PowerPoint guru.
We had a significant water leak that took place that affected a lot of people in the village, and I thought this might be a nice opportunity to kind of go through exactly what happened and how things worked for us. So, most of you who were affected know that yesterday morning when you woke up, you had a button. And the short of it is that there was a connection that was made to our 10-inch main line that went to one of the residents down at 56 Shamrock. For those of you that may know where that's at, it's kind of all the way down at the bottom of North Shamrock. And that connection broke. And I even have show and tell. I brought because it was significant that it wasn't our streets that broke. It was actually the strap that holds on the connection to our 10-inch pipe, and it was the steel that broke on it. So I don't know anything about all the forensics behind it, but it seems to me that there probably was some sort of a defect with the strap that holds it on there. The problem was that it started leaking, and we didn't know about it more than likely until it popped out of there. And then that's when it started gushing. And when it started gushing, literally, when you were standing, it was like standing on a humongous water bed. There was so much water down there. So it was significant. And so that, of course, began the process of alerting everybody and getting crews on there. And we have a water technician for the village that we've hired by the name of Jesse Southard, and he was right on there and began the assessment. So initial notifications were such that we would go investigate and, of course, realize there was a problem, and then we called the contractor that was sent out to fix it. So this was actually the culmination of everybody being there all at one time working on this leak. Now, the other issue that we struggled with was that there was a valve that we needed to be able to shut off so it wouldn't have affected so many people. Unfortunately, the valve had been paved over some years back, whenever that was. More on that when it came up. The other significant problem, unfortunately, is that it's at the bottom of the hill, so we couldn't shut off. We couldn't shut the valve off. I'm sorry. It was on. We couldn't get it on. It was already off. So what ended up happening was we had to wait for that 10-inch line to basically drain. So it took an awful lot of work and a lot of pumps and a lot of shovels and a lot of creativity to try to get it all drained so that we could work on it. So this is that little square there is where the valve was. Jesse found it, and he literally with a hammer and chisel finally got to it, and then got some help with a saw. So those of you that were affected in that may have remembered that somewhere around 2 or so, you probably got a notification that your water is back on, and that was before the rest of the street. That's because they were able to get access to that valve, which of course is what saved that. Surprise! There it is.
Oh my God!
Are they gonna move that valve, or are they, or?
No, he's gonna fix it so it won't be a problem. That extension, rise. So yeah, so you can see how deep that is, and that was just full of water.
I don't see you in there.
And then, and I did a little zoom out thing.
He's not a congressman.
Because I was loving it. I was having a good time. I was learning a lot. So this is what they bore into the pipe, and that little hole there is what actually accesses it. And back to the show and tell part. But it fits right over that. So this is what popped out of that hole. All the problem. And eventually, and literally, it was a full day. It started early in the morning. We didn't get done until dinner time. We got done with getting it all fixed and back in place. The cones are going to have to remain because there was so much water there. So I do want to alert residents that when you're down there, please stay away from that coned in area. It's unstable. Once it starts to settle a little bit and the fattening is going to come back, they're going to top that off. and grade it. So, quick big thank you to Jesse. Again, he is quite the guy. He found that valve, and like you say, when I found him, he was on his knees whacking with a hammer. And of course, Bruce McFadden and his crew, and thank you to the affected residents for your patience and for all of you to understand that these things are going to happen. We've got some infrastructure that's old, and then in this particular case, I don't think age had anything to do with it. It was just unfortunate failure that took place. But I do want to pass that along, but you got to know what happened.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome for that.
Thank you for the slideshow.
Yeah. I know. You got to be this like
I'm trying to grow us.
Yeah.
IRS. So that's that. I do have a letter that I want to read to everybody. Those of you that don't know, I am unfortunately have to move. We're moving closer to family, and so I'd like to read this. Dear Major, next to the Congress, get on the table with Lieutenant Commander. Yeah.
Reading, buddy.
Dear Mayor, fellow council members and residents, I'm writing to formally submit my resignation from the FOXFIRE Village Council effective February 1st, 2024. Due to an impending move from North Carolina, I've come to the decision that is in the best interest of both myself and the residents I've had the honor of serving to step down from my position. Because of the possibility of an early sale, I need to be prepared to act quickly. I believe that by stepping down now, I can ensure that the Village Council continues to receive the attention and dedication it deserves from someone who could fully commit to the responsibilities of the role. I'm committed to facilitating a smooth transition. I will work closely with my colleagues to ensure that all pending matters are addressed and provide any necessary assistance to the person who will be taking over my responsibilities. I'm grateful for the opportunities and experiences that serving on the Village Council has provided me. Yesterday was one of them. I learned a lot. It has been a privilege to work alongside my dedicated colleagues here, a passionate community, and the village staff, which I can't say enough about. I'm proud. Excuse me. I'm proud of the initiatives that we have undertaken together and the positive changes we've implemented during my tenure. I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to my fellow council members, village staff, and the residents of our community for their support and collaboration. I'm confident that the Village Council will continue to thrive and make significant contributions to the well-being of our village. Thank you once again for the opportunity to serve on the FOXFIRE Village Council. Thank you.
Gary, I just want to say, you will be truly missed. It's been an honor and a privilege.
Thank you.
To work
He's not
with you.
gone yet.
I know, it's still. And I'd also like to make an announcement that we have approached Warren Morgan to take your position on the council. He was the next highest vote getter in our election, which was just in November. So we have asked Warren, and he's kindly accepted service on the council, and we thank you for that. And I don't have his complete resume, but I know he has extensive water department background.
Thank God.
Well, you won't be getting these things.
No. This continues. I hope it doesn't.
Pass that to him.
That's what it is. Exactly. And it's I look forward to working with Warren too, and we will give him his oath of office whenever you can arrange that with Lisa. And I think they're looking at maybe Monday for that even, because first is Friday.
Yes.
Yes. So thank you very much, Warren.
Thanks, Warren.
Thank you.
And that's it. Okay, so I guess on to me. I have just a couple of things I want to go over. On Tuesday, I went to a commissioners meeting. Mary Gilroy had informed me of some items that were on the agenda of the county commissioners. And one of them was significant. It was basically they were having a public hearing regarding allowing something called high impact event, high impact
Recreation.
recreation in planned unit developments in the county. And you might say, oh, what's the big deal? Well, Foxfire, if you don't realize, Foxfire has a lot of county land around it and in the middle of it. You drive down Hoffman Road, there's a lot of ETJ property. Anything that's ETJ is in the county and under county control to some extent.
Not for zoning though.
Okay,
The ETJ belongs to Foxfire for zoning, but their recommendation was to allow high impact recreation in the county, which if you go down
well, Jackson Springs
yeah,
Road
yeah.
is,
Yeah.
you know, county. So,
Can you tell us what
Yes.
the high impact?
I'm just getting into that. High impact is basically defined as activities that have a high potential for nuisance to abutting property owners. Now, that could be nuisance being noise, light, crowds, you name it, anything that can be defined as a nuisance to abutting properties. And I got up and I spoke and I basically gave them my opinion saying that whether it's planned or not, a nuisance is a nuisance. And this could be in any zoning district in the county. I mean, it would be RA, but it could be anything. It could be in any of their planning and zoning districts that they wanted to be able to consider adding this high impact activities. So I did stress the fact that, you know, we really need, when it comes to growth in the county, we really need to be raising the bar and making sure we're doing the best we can to improve the property values, not lower property values. And I think it's very important that people keep that in mind and that developers coming through here are going to want to put anything on property. They build and they leave. They don't live here. And people need to be aware of these things. They need to keep an eye on what's going on around us, because just because it's not Foxfire doesn't mean that it's not going to affect our life. So I think it's important. And this public hearing, well, this change to their table of uses was defeated 3-2, but it was 3-2. So
Yeah.
it almost passed, and it almost would have been, I think, a significant change for the county. So, and again, they actually voted 3-2 to say that adding this was not it was consistent with the land use plan, which I found very interesting.
Especially because it wasn't a permitted use the way it was.
They're saying that adding this to the land use plan, or to the allowable table of uses, was consistent with the land use plan, and that was a 3-2 vote. So it's very interesting, but thank goodness it failed, and we just have to, again, stay very active. And I think the land use plan is important, but more important is what are they considering from month to month in their meetings.
Right.
So we're trying to do the best we can to stay on top of it, but sometimes it gets, well, Mary has a little bit more expertise in ferreting through their agendas to figure out what's going on. But
I'll be paying very careful attention, trust
and
me.
keep
That
us
one,
informed.
that one almost got by us.
Yeah.
That would not have been good.
And
Yeah.
you can't take for granted that everybody's on the same page, and you need to make your voices heard. The other thing I wanted to go through is that I got an email from a citizen regarding closed sessions and if we were having a closed session regarding the pool. And I just want to make people understand that we just don't say, oh, we're going to have a closed session because we want to talk about something that we don't want anyone to know anything about. There is a North Carolina general statutes that it's 143-318.11. And it's closed sessions, and it tells you the permitted purposes for closed sessions. And to talk about general administrative duties or general administrative decisions is not one of the authorized uses. There's 10 sections, and I'm not going to read every single one of them, but some of the things that we would go into a closed session for is to prevent disclosure of information that's privileged or confidential, prevent premature disclosure of honorary degrees, scholarships, or prizes.
That's for you.
That's for the Academy Awards, I guess.
Congressman.
Congressman, yeah.
To consult with an attorney regarding litigation. There's a lot of other ones that to discuss matters related to specific employee discussions. So it's very narrow what you can have closed sessions regarding. So I want people to be confident that we are not having closed sessions just to have general conversations, nor will three of us ever be in a room together discussing anything. So without being in a public hearing or a public meeting. So I just wanted to mention that. I don't know if anyone else wants to add anything to that, but I do think people, if they're concerned, they should read General Statute, North Carolina General Statute 143-318.11. Closed sessions. And that's all I have. Now I'm going to open it up to public comment for any items that were listed or discussed during this meeting. So is there anyone that has any public? Please come up and state your name and address.
Hi, I'm Kathy Straga. I'm living at 46 Virginia Road. And I just want to address something regarding the pool. Even though the past FOXFIRE Village Council members knew that the pool was not a moneymaker for the village, they carried the running expenses of the pool because they knew it was an important amenity for the village. In a survey sent out several years ago to be used as a guide for the long-term planning goals of FOXFIRE Village, a question was asked regarding the pool. The survey statement was, a community swimming pool is a valuable asset. Of the 203 responses given, 153 residents agreed or strongly agreed that it was. That's 75% of the people polled agreed that the pool was a valuable asset. So I feel keeping the pool is a long-term planning issue, which will be beneficial to FOXFIRE Village in the future as well as now. I'm in total agreement with Gary Samuels. I'm sorry that you're leaving. You did a wonderful job. I think his idea of taking a long time to review the replacement and future replacement or repair for the village pool, and get competitive bids and proposals and figuring out how you could finance this and what's in the best interest is a really good idea. Because when you try to do it and there's not a lot of time left, you can see what happens with that. So that's what I wanted to just bring up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Hi, I'm Sally Conliffe and I live at One Ridge Road. And I had a big long spiel, but now that the pool's staying open, not much of it matters anymore. So there's one thing, in the meeting you mentioned that there is 4,270 pool passes that were sold in 2023. And I think it's due to the lack of hours. We have a lot of people at work during the day, and it's difficult they can't get to the pool because they're at work. And if we had at least 2 nights a week that the pool was open, that would be better for them. And 6 hours, it's not a long time. So it's people's schedules and all. So I just hoping that we could have better hours. And it would be nice if we could have maybe the Foxfire residents have a family pass, and it's people that are outside that don't have the family pass. And that might help you determine whether the people are from Foxfire or not. And when you do your long range plan, it would be nice to be kept in the loop on everything and be transparent about income, expense, and everything that you're talking about in your long range plan. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we did talk about, get up here. I'm Sandra Miller. I live on Richmond Road, 51 Richmond Road. And we did talk about it in a little meeting we had today about the pool. Pool ladies got together and had a little meeting. If we could keep it open longer, like it was really hot all the way to October. If we could keep it open at least to the end of September, or open it maybe a little bit earlier, having also with longer hours, a couple more months. We thought that would be helpful. And I want to thank you for all that you've been doing.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I think I'm Johnson regarding the pool.
Could you state your name and
I'm
address?
Kathy Johnson. I live at 14 Bottley. I wanted to suggest to the council that a committee of volunteers work with Janet Dowman to help manage the pool. There are 4 or 5 of us who would like to do that. And it would be similar to the arrangement that the Foxfire Village Yard Waste has with the neighbor with volunteer. Why couldn't we collaborate a little bit?
Thank you. Thank you. I wasn't sure you were finished. Thank you.
All right, I'm Brandon Maheron. I'm from 32 Forest Lake Drive.
What is your name?
Brandon Maheron. If I need to spell it for you, I got
How do you spell your last name?
you. Mahurin. So, I was on Facebook, Foxfire Village Property Owners Association. Multiple people on there were requesting to come to this, but the timeline didn't fit their schedule because of 4:30 being the time that most people pick up their kids or most people are at work. Me getting off early from work, I was able to come here, rush, grab my kids, throw them at their mom, and get right.
Is that child abuse?
That is pretty much child abuse. You go ahead and call it up. That's like work. Big issue is multiple people were wanting to come to this, and they've actually texted me and emailed me about wanting to come to this, and they weren't being able to make it because they all have jobs during this time. So pushing it to the right would be much appreciated. On the issues with the pool, I'm glad you're going to fix it and everything else. Something else that I think we should consider is the day that you guys decide not to open that pool, it's going to become a eyesore, and we're going to have to start figuring out how much it's going to cost to destroy it. And digging up that concrete and all that piping and stuff, it's going to cost probably more than it does to actually fix a couple pipes. All right, that's just something else to consider. So as soon as you guys get to that point, just realize it's going to cost you the same amount just to destroy it. All right. With how you run the pool and stuff, I'm not going to tell you how to do it or anything like that. But I highly recommend getting with a couple people and developing multiple COAs, what we consider courses of action, because there's multiple different ways of running a pool. And I've talked to many people that run pools throughout this area and seen how other golf courses are ran theirs. And I mean, if the best way that works for you, because again, you're the one running it, not me. If the best way to work for you is that way, by all means, keep it up. But there are some other different ways and techniques to do it. That's all I've got. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Becky Dittmer, 3 Pine Tree Terrace. With the Spectrum Wi-Fi coming here, I know one of the prohibitors previously of doing taping by the town hall for public, so it could be live streamed, was the limited Wi-Fi access. So I just want to ask to consider, now that we will have enhanced Wi-Fi service here, right here in this building, if that may be something that the council will take under consideration to do live streaming. So as Brandon just described, more people can access the town hall versus the, non-live stream version that we have today, which is done by private citizens.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, Parker Dixon. We just moved in at 15 Deer Track Road. And just, I don't want to echo the same comments, but maybe something a little different regarding the pool just to help us out. If we could somehow make it a little more affordable for families, especially for families that live in Foxfire, that'd be amazing. Because we were looking at the prices last year. It's a little difficult to swing for some of us right now. So that would be awesome if that could be taken into consideration when figuring out how to run the pool. That'd be great. And then the hours too, can be a little hard with kids and getting out of school and work. I don't know. Again, like you said, I don't want to tell you how to run it, but just if there could be a discussion of how to keep it open longer. And we got more daylight in the summer, which is good. It stays light till 9 o'clock. Keep it open. I don't know, whatever you guys come up with, but just a little longer to be really helpful to the families that have young kids and also people that just work. So appreciate it.
Hi.
Hi.
Well, FOXFIRE.
What is your last name again?
Oh, Kula. Okay, ULA. No, Dr. No, I just want to thank you for reconsidering the pool and the service it gives to the community. We need more time if you're going to do it. Let's do it right and open it up sooner and close it later. Even during the day, if it's possible, with volunteers. I volunteer other places. I'm willing to volunteer here too, and I know we can get a good group of people that will help out. So consider that, please.
Thank you.
My name's Jim Hine. I'm at 41 Richmond Road. I just want to thank council, specifically Janet, for the work you've done to keep the pool open. I think it makes a lot of people in the village happy. It gives kids things to do in the summertime, and it's a good addition to have to the village. I sent a link, and I don't know if this is something we can look into, to Janice and you, Janet, a link to a state site that provides grants for parks and recreation. It's a trust fund that's been set up. Maybe you can look into that. Maybe it's something that can help us maintain the pool going forward.
Did you send that to the village?
I sent it to Janice and I sent it to you as well.
When did you
When did you
send
send
that?
it?
Just 5 minutes.
Oh. I don't say I didn't get it.
Yeah, I had to come to more of these meetings because of it. I mean, part of it is great.
I sent you a link.
Yeah, no, I just sent it like 5 minutes ago. So I don't know, maybe it's something we can look into. The state's sitting on a lot of money. Maybe we can get a piece of that money. I think it's a 50-50 type of grant where if we spend 10,000, they'll match the 10,000, something like that. But it would be great if we could get some help with the pool as well. So that's all I have to say. Thanks, man. Thanks for all you do.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. All right. I'm gonna close the Foxfire meeting. I'm gonna make a motion to close the meeting.
I seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.